"You're not a soldier. You're a souvenir in a flight suit." The sergeant's voice echoed like a slap through the steel ribs of the hangar, loud enough to pull every idle glance toward them. His finger jabbed the air just inches from her name patch, L. Quinn, sewn in simple black thread above a neat line of ribbons. Lieutenant Lara Quinn didn't flinch. She stood tall, hands at her sides, her gaze forward with the kind of icy calm that doesn't ask for permission. Her khaki flight suit hugged her frame, her combat boots planted firmly on the hangar floor. But to the man in front of her, and to several smirking recruits behind him, none of that mattered. They saw a woman first. Everything else came second. "This isn't a movie set, sweetheart," he added with a sneer, "and you don't earn respect by walking around looking like a poster ad. If you're not going to fly, get out of the way and take that damn uniform off." There it was. The line she'd heard in one form or another since day one. Not about performance, not about failure. Just doubt wrapped in bravado and spit out like truth. Lara said nothing. Her silence wasn't surrender, it was restraint. She could hear the barely contained chuckles behind the sergeant. One of the recruits whispered, "She's gonna cry." Another muttered, "Bet she's just here for diversity points." They all waited for her to buckle, to storm out, to let their little stage show play out like it always did. But she didn't. Instead, she tilted her head, raised her chin just enough to meet the sergeant's stare head-on, and said calmly, "Sergeant, with all due respect, if you're done barking, I have a pre-flight check to complete." He blinked. "Pre-flight? You're not cleared for combat ops." She held out a flight roster, initials stamped beside Rafale B, Patrol 07. His jaw twitched. She gave him a moment. "Permission to proceed, sir?" she asked flatly. He snatched the paper from her hands, eyes scanning it like it had betrayed him. Sure enough, the commander's signature stared back. He had nothing. Nothing except his pride, which he dropped like a stone when he shoved a helmet into her chest. "Try not to scratch the jet," he grunted, turning away. Lara didn't smile. She didn't wink or make a scene. She simply turned and walked to the tarmac, helmet under one arm, strides measured, precise. Each step said what she didn't need to. "I earned this. I trained for this. And I don't owe you a damn explanation." 40 minutes later, the base trembled under the thunder of jet engines. The first pass came fast, a blur across the sky that turned heads, rattled teeth, and sent dust swirling across the camp. The soldiers eating lunch outside dove for cover, and even the sergeant shot to his feet, eyes wide. The Rafale roared over the barracks like a lightning strike, banking hard to the left before circling back for a second approach, this time slower, lower, deliberate. And there, etched just below the canopy in stark black letters, was her name, Lieutenant L. Quinn. She dipped her wings. Not too showy, just enough to say, "Yes, it's me." The camp watched in silence. She finished the maneuver, pulled into a smooth climb, and vanished into the clouds. But the moment had already burned itself into the minds of everyone watching. Back in the hangar, the sergeant stood stiff, hands on his hips, chewing on shame. He didn't say a word when she returned. Lara walked past him without looking in his direction. It wasn't until she was almost at the locker room that his voice broke the silence again. "Lieutenant." She paused. He didn't bark this time. No bravado, just 3 quiet words. "You earned it." She gave a slow nod and walked on. Not to prove him wrong, but because she'd always known she was right. The next morning, a notice was posted in the mess hall. "Flight Lead, Patrol 07, Lieutenant L. Quinn." Signed by the base commander. That afternoon, a younger recruit, the same one who had laughed behind the sergeant, stood at attention as Lara passed by. "Ma'am," he said with a nervous salute. She returned it, calm and measured. The air had shifted, and word spread. The video footage of the Rafale pass hit the unit's internal board within hours. Then it leaked. Then it went viral. Tens of thousands watched as the quiet girl pilot shut down an entire camp with 1 flyby and 0 theatrics. Pilots from across branches weighed in online. Some called her Echo, others called her a ghost. Because she never raised her voice, never fired back, she just flew, and that was enough. So you don't silence doubt by shouting louder, you silence it by rising higher, until the people who mocked you are left staring at the sky, wondering how they ever thought you couldn't. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story inspired you, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop a karma in the comments below.